Hey everybody, welcome to Bhakti Yoga Shala, Happy Hour Yoga. My name is Noah, and I'm glad to be here with you today. And to everyone online, hi, thanks for being with us. Let's get started. See if you can just lay down, close your eyes. Whatever kind of day you've had, whatever kind of week it's been, see if you can just start to let that go. Take a few moments to really land in this space tonight. And let's just start with our feet. If you can just relax your toes, let your ankles fall open. Relax the knees. Just feel your hips melting right into the floor. Feel the entire lower body just grounded, rooted, connected. Subtly see if you can just shift that awareness right to your belly. Manipura chakra is the physical energy right there in the belly that we work with in a yoga class. Just take note of how you're feeling today. Whatever kind of energy you're working with today is totally fine. But just check in to see how you feel physically today. And then see if you can relax your fingers. Let your wrists open. Let your elbows splay. Feel your shoulders melting into the floor. Feel your entire upper body just still and quiet, connected to that lower body. See if you can shift that awareness from your belly right to the center of your chest, Anahata chakra, the wheel of energy that we are really concerned with in a Bhakti Yoga practice. Heart chakra, sort of the key to what Bhakti Yoga really is, the yoga of love, the yoga of devotion. See if you can just take a few moments now to connect to something bigger than yourself, whatever it is that is sacred to you. See if you can invite that energy in your practice today. See if you can relax your lips, relax your jaw. Relax your eyelids. Just feel the back of your head gently resting on the floor. Neck relaxed, connected to that still torso. Torso connected to those still legs. Just feel your entire body calm, still. See if you can shift your awareness to that space right between the eyebrows, Anja chakra, seat of consciousness. All we're going to do today is blend those three energies, physical energy of the body, the energy of the heart with the consciousness. And the way we're going to do that is just by bringing some conscious effort to the breath. See if you can gently just invite some air in through your nose. Just start to fill up those lungs. And then just hold the breath at the top. Fill the lungs full. When you're ready, just open the mouth, sigh out the breath. We'll do two more just like that. Gently in through the nose, filling up the lungs. Holding at the top, buoyant. And when you're ready, open the mouth and just release. Last time, sweetest breath yet. Gently through the nose. Be taking a little bit more air at the top. And when you're ready, releasing the breath. You can take a few more breaths in and out through the nose. Enjoy a few more moments of stillness, of quiet. Eventually, we're going to make our way right back here. So from here, keeping the eyes closed, on an inhale through the nose, just gently take your arms over your head and just reach your arms toward the back of the space, maybe pointing the toes, just getting a nice full body stretch. It feels good. Just bring the knees right into the belly and just give those knees a little hug, a little squeeze. You want to rock gently from side to side, little circles with the lower back, a little touch for the sacrum. And then your choice, you can either rock along the entire length of the spine coming up to seated, or you can roll to one side and gently press your way up. No rush. Once you find yourself sitting up, see if you can, again, just keeping the eyes closed, sit up nice and tall, bringing the hands together in front of the chest, in front of the heart. Before we begin the practice officially, just taking a moment to set an intention for your practice today. Whatever it is that you want to cultivate more of in your life, in your yoga practice, in your relationships with other people. Whatever it is, just see if you can get very specific, get very clear, and then really see the manifestation of that intention. Don't just see what it looks like, but really feel what it feels like as it manifests into every part of your life. Just know that that intention is supported by everyone here. It gives this practice some purpose and meaning. We'll start the class with 3 sounds of Om, taking a nice inhale through the nose. Namaste, everybody. From here, just very gently relax the hands, blink the eyes open, and let's start by just rolling over the knees, coming into all fours, tabletop position. Knees are going to be right underneath the hips, hands right underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide. On an inhale, see if you can just lift your left leg to your own sweet degree. And just press back through the left heel, and then on an inhale, reach the right arm out in front of you, coming into Sunburn pose. Just take this first pose nice and easy. It's just a little exploration, a little bit of balance, a little bit of strength in that left hand and left arm. See if you can keep a little bit of length in the neck by bringing the gaze down toward the mat. And then don't even worry about the height. Just see how far you can start to pull those limbs away from each other. Take an inhale, find some lift, and then exhale, hand, knee, foot to ground. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So right leg lifts to your own sweet degree, pressing back through that right heel. Left arm reaches out in front of you. And again, just starting to explore a little bit of traction and length in the spine, a little bit of strength in that right hand. Maybe drawing the belly up and in for some support. Take an inhale for some length. Hand, knee, foot to ground. On the exhale, bringing the feet together, spread the knees nice and wide. Let those hips melt back. Forehead melts to the front of the mat. First child's pose. And let's just set a foundation of breath for the practice today. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose if that's available to you. The first step is just putting some boundaries around the breath. And in doing so, can really start to explore the breath more fully. The place to just check in, noticing any pockets of tension, anywhere that you feel tight. And maybe just starting to breathe into those pockets. And the next step is see if you can start to lengthen that breath. So drawing the breath in a little bit deeper, maybe 3 or 4 seconds. Just starting to explore the capacity of those lungs. As that breath gets deeper, notice that mind starting to get more calm, more focused. Each new breath just bringing new energy into the body. Each exhale releasing stagnation, old thought patterns, anything that no longer serves you. And then last step, let's just see if we can start to even that breath out. The length of the inhale, the length of the exhale. Just finding a natural balance and a natural rhythm to that breath that feels sustainable, that feels empowering, and that feels nurturing. So as we create that equanimity in the breath, we're creating equanimity in the mind, in the body, in the spirit, right? It's all connected. Beautiful. From here, staying low in child's pose, see if you can just start to walk your hands over to the left side of this space. And just take a few deep breaths down the right side of the body. Pingala Nadi, the masculine side of the body. Just breathing into that armpit, into those side ribs, just creating some space. Beautiful. And then on your next round of breath, just starting to walk the hands over to the right, breathing down the left side of the body. Left side of the body, the Ida Nadi, the feminine side of the body. More creative. Energetically, really think of this in terms of a gender dynamic. They're just qualities of energy that we're working through. See if you can bring the hands back to the center and just take a few more breaths here in child's pose. As we move through the practice today, anytime you want to take a break, just drop your knees, come back to child's pose. This pose is always here for you. Beautiful. As you're ready, just make your way back up to all fours, tabletop position, keeping that flow of breath nice and deep. On an inhale, just letting the belly drop, heart pulls forward, shoulders roll back. As you exhale, round the belly up and in, head dangles free. Coming into cat-cow. Inhale, belly drops, heart pulls forward. Exhale, round it in. Just take a couple of rounds in your own breath and just start to link the breath with a flow of movement. It's our first gentle vinyasa. Just a little wake up for the Sushumna, the central column of energy that runs from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head, connecting masculine and feminine, Ida and Pingala. Beautiful. One more round wherever you're at. Then we'll meet in a neutral tabletop. And then from neutral tabletop, just curl the toes and very gently lift the hips, coming up to our first downward facing dog. Fingers spread nice and wide. Feet spread about hip distance, maybe a little wider. Maybe your knees are bent for this first down dog. Maybe they're bent for all of them. Any little movements that you want to take in this first down dog, totally fine. You can pedal the heels. You can swivel the heels, swivel the hips. Can practice shifting the weight from one arm to the other, but just starting to explore the boundaries of your down dog. And again, just paying attention to the energy that you're working with today. There's no need to blast through. Beautiful. From a neutral down dog, on an inhale, just come forward to the top of a push-up. Come into plank pose. Fingers spread nice and wide, maybe a little bend to the elbows. See if you can press the heels to the back of the space, drawing the heart to the front of the space and lifting the front side of the body. Notice that that breath is still rich and deep. Just a few breaths here. One more inhale, and then coming back to down dog as we exhale. And then again, let's just play with pulsing with the breath. So on an inhale, melting forward to plank pose. And then as you exhale, coming back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Inhale, come forward to plank. Down dog on the exhale. And then last time forward, inhale to plank. This time lower all the way down onto your belly. When you get there, release the tops of the feet, hands underneath the shoulders. First, gentle cobra on an inhale. Just start to lift the chest to your own sweet degree. Exhale, set it down. We'll do 5 of these. Inhale, cobra number 2. Exhale, release, set it down. Inhale, number 3, drawing those elbows toward the side ribs. Exhale, release, set it down. Following the breath, number 4. Exhale, release, set it down. We'll hold this last one for a few breaths. So just explore Cobra as you come up. Feel the fingertips pressing to the front of the space. Top of the feet pressing down. Shoulders rolling back, heart lifting. Take a big inhale. Exhale, release, set it down, curl the toes. Lift the hips, coming back to downward facing dog. Breath still deep. Yes. Notice those hips lifting high to the sky. Heels melting down toward the floor. On an inhale, come up onto your tippy toes. Bend your knees nice and deep and bring the gaze forward. And just walk yourself to the front of the mat. And then hands to shins on an inhale. Pull the heart forward. Take a few deep breaths here. Maybe keeping the knees bent. And just draw the heart to the front of the space. Breathing into the back of the legs. One more inhale for some length. Melting from the hips as you exhale. Uttanasana, forward fold. Just close your eyes. Just hang out in that forward fold. It's a great place to really tune into that breath. And any variations with the hands that you want to take. You can bring opposite hand to elbow. You can grab the back of the knees. See if you can keep a subtle bend in the knees. If you want to get into those legs a little bit, just start to draw the muscles on the front part of the leg, the front quadricep up toward the hip. Just breathe, let some blood flow to the brain. Let's say 3 more deep breaths. And then from here, just bring your hands right to your hips. See if you can heel toe your feet so that your feet are about hip distance apart. And then we're just going to ragdoll our way up to standing. So one vertebrae at a time. Your gaze will be the last thing to come forward. When it does, take a big inhale. Circle the arms nice and wide, reaching high to the sky. Palms kiss, and then as you exhale, just bring those hands right to the heart. Bring the feet together. Close the eyes. Just come back to your intention. Just remember why you're here. And let's just start to move a little bit. On an inhale, circle the arms, reach wide, lifting high. Exhale, forward fold, dive and release, hinging from the hips. Inhale, halfway up, flat back, heart pulls forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank, and take a good breath in plank just to organize. Exhale, lower down onto your belly. Inhale, heart lifts to Cobra. Exhale, curl the toes, lift the hips, coming back to downward facing dog, breathing deep. Those hips lifting nice and high. Maybe energetically starting to draw the belly in to support the back. Maybe bringing the chin in toward the chest a little bit. Just check in with the neck. Check in with your breath. Heart melting. Big inhale, winding back through the hips. Exhale, feet walk or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, heart pulls forward. Exhale, forward fold, heart melts from the ground. Big inhale, circle the arms, reach wide and high. Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart, return to Samastiti, return to soul. Inhale, circle wide, reach and lift with the breath. Exhale, dive and release. Halfway up, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. This time lower on that same exhale breath. Cobra on the inhale. Exhale, back downward facing dog. Breathing deep. Just notice what's starting to shift. Breath getting deeper, that mind still calm, still focused. The body starting to warm and open. Letting all of that oxygen-rich blood start to circulate. Big inhale, winding back. Exhale, feet walk or hop, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, release. Inhale, circle the arms, reach high, lift up. Exhale, hands to the heart, returning to center. Inhale, circle wide, reach, lift high. Exhale, dive and release with the breath. Inhale, halfway up, flat back, and then this time just come back to that forward fold. Spread your feet about hip distance apart. Put a nice bend in the left knee, but keep the right leg straight, and then come up onto your left fingertips, right under your face, right arm up to the sky, coming into our first twist. The deeper you bend that left knee, the more you can start to pull that heart forward. And then just breathe into the outside edge of that right leg. Stay with your breath. One more inhale to open wide. Exhale, gently setting the right hand down. Straighten that left leg. Inhale, halfway up, flat back, pulling up those kinks. Exhale, forward fold, bending the right knee, left leg straight, coming up onto the right fingertips, left arm to the sky, twisting open to the other side. And just breathing into all of those pockets. The outer edge, the left leg, the IT band. Finding a little bit of Cobra in those shoulders, lifting the heart, big inhale, open up that left chest. Exhale, set the left hand down. Halfway up, flat back, big inhale. Exhale, forward fold. See if you can heel to the feet back together. And then bending the knees, dropping the hips, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale, both arms up. And let's just take about 8 deep breaths here to explore Utkatasana. See if you can drop the weight into the heels, maybe lifting the toes up off the mat, spreading the toes nice and wide, and then gently setting them down. See if you can drop that tailbone, almost like a cat tilt, and then lifting the front of the torso. So the lower belly lifts up. Fingers spread nice and wide. As you lift that heart, see if you can let the shoulders roll back. And then just sit in that fire for 3 more deep breaths, building some heat. Last big inhale. Exhale, forward fold and release, straining the legs. Halfway up, flat back, big inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank, lower down with the breath. Cobra on the inhale. Exhale, back downward facing dog. Beautiful, everybody. See if you can bring the feet together, and then on an inhale, just lift the right leg to your own sweet degree. Take a big breath, and then as you exhale, bring the right knee to the belly, weight shifting forward, shoulders over the wrists. See if you can bring that forehead in to meet the knee. And then draw that knee up with those belly muscles. Big inhale, right leg comes back up to the sky. Exhale, right foot steps deep at the front of the mat, coming into a high lunge. And then check out your feet. So make sure that your feet are about hip distance apart. And then from here, let's just plant the weight into the left palm, right arm up to the sky. So coming right into our second twist. start with the feet. So again, pressing that left heel to the back of the space, drawing those thighs in together. So you have a stable base in the legs, arms stacked right on top of each other. Fingers spread wide. Take a big inhale, open up that right chest, and then see if you can start to reach that right arm to the front of the space. See if you can press the inner edge of the right foot down. And just breathe into the entire pose. Open up to the possibility of the practice. Breath sounds amazing. Big inhale, right arm comes back up to the sky. Exhale, gently set that right hand down. And then chest rests right on top of that right thigh. See if you can bring both arms toward the back of the space. And let's really get into those legs. As those fingers reach to the back of the space, the heart pulls to the front of the space. See if you can draw that belly up and into the spine. And then on a big inhale, both arms up. Come into Crescent Warrior. A little bit of balance. Just find your place in the pose. Front knee is bent right over that right ankle. Both arms up to the sky. Breath still deep. Beautiful, everybody. Let's say 3 more deep breaths here. Finding your edges. Last big inhale. Exhale, gently set the hands down, step back to plank, lower with the breath. Cobra on the inhale. Exhale back, downward facing dog, feet together, left leg to the sky. Big inhale. Left knee to the belly on the exhale. Take a few breaths here, forehead to knee, shoulders right over the wrists. Using the abdominal muscles to draw that left thigh up and in. Big inhale, left leg comes back up to the sky. Exhale, left foot steps deep at the front of the mat. Feet spread about hip distance apart. Weight shifts into that right hand. Left arm up to the sky. Second twist on the other side. And again, start from the ground up. That right heel presses to the back of the space. Thighs drawing together. Inner edge of the left foot presses down. Arms stacked right on top of each other. Finding some cobra, some gentleness in the pose. Big inhale, open up that left chest. Left arm reaches to the front of the space. Deep breath. Just like in Sunburn pose, seeing how much length we can get from that right heel pressing to the back of the space. Those fingertips on the left hand reaching to the front of the space. Beautiful, everybody. Big inhale, left arm comes back up to the sky. Exhale, set the left hand down. Chest on top of left thigh. Fingers to the back of the space. Breathing deep. Feeling those legs really engaged. See if you can draw that belly up and in toward the spine. Strong belly, big breath. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Crescent Warrior. Finding your place in the pose to the degree that feels good to you. See if you can just connect to the energetics of the pose. Just experiencing what's happening in your body, in your breath, in your heart, in the pose. Three more deep breaths, lifting through that heart. Let it shine. last big inhale, full expression. Exhale, gently set the hands down, step back to plank, lower with the breath. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, back, downward facing dog, breathing deep. TGIF. So we're just going to turn that into a brief little flow, maybe break a little sweat, and then, we're going to wind it back down. Let's just move with the breath. Big inhale, winding back through the hips. Exhale, feet walk or hop, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Feet together, bend the knees, drop the hips. Inhale, Utkatasana, one breath. Exhale, forward fold and release. Halfway up, flat back. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower with the breath. Cobra, as you inhale. Exhale back, down dog, right leg to the sky, big inhale, right knee to the belly, hug and squeeze it in. Inhale, right leg reaches back. Exhale, right foot steps deep. Inhale, strong belly, big breath. Crescent warrior with the breath, come up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower with the breath. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale back, down dog, left leg to the sky. Inhale, left knee to the belly on the exhale. Inhale, left leg reaches back. Exhale, left foot steps deep. Crescent warrior with the breath. Inhale, exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower. Cobra, should feel good to lift that heart. Exhale back, downward facing dog, breathing deep. Stay with the breath. Big inhale, hips wind back. Exhale, feet walk or hop, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, feet together, bend the knees, drop the hips. Chair pose on the inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold and release. Halfway up, flat back, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower with the breath. Cobra on the inhale. Exhale back, down dog, right leg to the sky. Inhale, right knee to the belly on the exhale. Inhale, right leg reaches back. Exhale, right foot steps deep. Strong belly, big breath. Inhale, crescent warrior. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower with the breath. Cobra on the inhale. Exhale back, down dog, left leg to the sky, big inhale. Left knee to the belly on the exhale. Inhale, left leg reaches back. Exhale, left foot steps deep. Inhale, crescent warrior, building it. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, riding that wave of breath. Cobra, inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale back, downward facing dog. So this last round, we're just going to add a little bit of dynamic flow. And then we're really going to ease it off. So this is sort of like the top of the hill when we're hiking. We're almost there. Big inhale, wind it back. Exhale, feet walk or hop, front of the mat. Halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, feet together, bend the knees, drop the hips. Inhale, Utkatasana, and then chest to knee. As you exhale, arms reach back and behind. Inhale, Utkatasana, with the breath, come up. Chest to knee on the exhale. Inhale, Utkatasana chair, chest to knee on the exhale. Inhale, Utkatasana, come up, chest to knee on the exhale. Beautiful, everybody. Last time, inhale, come up, Utkatasana, forward fold on the exhale. Halfway up, flat back, inhale, exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower with the breath. Inhale to Cobra, exhale back, down dog, right leg to the sky, big inhale, right knee to the belly, on the exhale. Inhale, right leg reaches back, exhale, right foot steps deep. Crescent warrior on the breath, inhale, chest to knee on the exhale, arms reach back. Inhale, crescent warrior, come up with the breath, chest to knee as you exhale. Inhale with the breath, crescent, come up, chest to knee on the exhale as you release. Inhale, crescent, come up, chest to knee on the exhale. Last time up, inhale, crescent warrior, exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower with the breath. Cobra on the inhale, exhale back, down dog, left leg to the sky, inhale, left knee to the belly, on the exhale. Inhale, left leg reaches back, exhale, left foot steps deep. Crescent warrior, inhale, come up with the breath, chest to knee on the exhale. Inhale, crescent warrior, follow that breath, chest to knee on the exhale. Beautiful, inhale, come up, chest to knee as you exhale. Inhale, come up, chest to knee, exhale. Last time, inhale, crescent warrior, exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower with the breath. Inhale to Cobra, come up, exhale back, downward facing dog, breathing deep. Everyone take a big inhale through the nose and then out the mouth. See if you can just start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Coming into a forward fold at the back of your mat. Two options here. You can either make a hook with your middle finger, your index finger, and your thumb, or you can lift the feet off the mat and bring your palms right underneath the feet. Whatever feels better for you. If you bring your hands underneath your feet, see if you can walk your feet forward so that your toes touch your wrists. And then on an inhale, bring the heart forward. Bring some length to the spine. Big breath. Exhale, forward fold. Close the eyes and just use all of that heat that we built to stretch the entire backside of the body. Just notice the quality of difference between all of that kinetic movement that we move through. Dropping back into that quiet, into that stillness. Beautiful, everybody. If you have your hands underneath your feet, just gently make them out. If you have the hook, gently release it and bring your hands to your lower back. Interlace the fingers on an inhale. Draw the hands to the back of the space. As you exhale, just bring those hands to the front of the space. Keeping the fingers interlaced. See if you can draw the shoulder blades together. Neck relaxed. If you can drop that breath right into the back of the heart. Your shoulders are tight, you can grab opposite elbows. If you have a little towel or a strap, sometimes that feels nice too. This is really not a place to get aggressive with yourself. Breathe. one more inhale. Gently releasing the hands back down to the mat. Come up onto the fingertips. Bring some length to that spine. Glance forward. And then as you exhale, just walk yourself back to downward facing dog. And then from here, everyone just drop your knees and come back to child's pose. Feet together, knees spread wide, hips melting. Just following that breath, breathing into a body that's open and warm. And then from here, just come back to all fours, tabletop. Just coming into a very gentle back bend. So see if you can keep your hips right over your knees, and then just start to walk your hands forward until you notice that your heart is melting down toward the mat. I don't even know what this is called. The best thing I've heard it called is Anahata Asana. Now for some of you, you'll have the range of motion to bring the gaze forward. Otherwise, just keep your forehead down. See if you can drop that breath again right into the back of the heart. Just breathe. And let's say 5 deep breaths here. Just pace yourself. Beautiful. Easiest way to make your way back out of this pose, just to walk your hands back towards your hips, and then just come back to child's pose, just as a counter pose to that back bend. When we orient the spine one way, we just want to make sure that we orient it the other way. Beautiful. And then from here, just come back up to all fours. And then just walk your knees forward, cross your ankles behind you. Come to a comfortable cross-legged seated position. So I'm going to give you guys some options. We're going to move into a little bit of pranayama to just kind of slow the heart back down. So you can stay seated. If you would rather take a forward bend, you can bring your legs in front of you, or you can spread your legs wide. And what we're going to do is an ascending breath. So just find a position that's comfortable, and then I'm going to count us out. So first step is just take an inhale through the nose, fill up the lungs completely, and then exhale through the nose. And then inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Keep the eyes closed. Just come back to a natural rate of breath. And just take a few moments to observe the effect of the pranayama. Slowing the breath down to about 2 breaths per minute. And then from here, see if you can gently bring your knees together. Just rest your forehead right on top of those knees. Moving beyond pranayama to pratyahara. And really just starting to turn all of those senses inward. And maybe starting with the sense of touch. Just notice the place where your skin, the outline of your body, connects to the ether, to space, to everything else. And see if you can start to dissolve that line and turn inward. If you can start to listen to that internal space. Senses of smell and taste moving inward. And then lastly, that sense of vision, just exploring the inside. Very gently, as you're ready, just make your way onto your back. When you get onto your back, just bring the knees into the belly. Give them a little hug, a little squeeze. And then one last twist here, just keeping the right knee hugged in. Release the left leg. Release the right arm, the right shoulder to the right, gaze to the right. Let that right knee fall to the left. Any last pockets of tension? And where you still feel tight, see if you can just let that go. When you're ready, bring that right knee back to center. Give it a little hug, a little squeeze, and then bring the left knee in to join, resetting the hips, and then just keep that left knee hugged in. Release the right leg. Left shoulder to the left, gaze to the left, left knee falls to the right. Maybe even starting to let go of the breath. Just preparing for really the most important part of this practice. Savasana, which is where we started. See if you can bring that left knee back to center. Hug and squeeze both knees in. And then just bring the forehead up to meet the knees. Take one last big breath through the nose. Hug and squeeze everything in. And then exhale. Just release everything. setting up for Savasana. Oh. Again, I want to cover your eyes with a towel. See if you can start to cut that cord. Merge back to source. Explore some deeper yoga. Rest in peace. Sweet dreams. Om Ganapataye Namah. Om Ganapataye Namah. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam. Very, very gently, you can start to make that transition back into your body. You start just wiggling the fingers or the toes. Maybe just by taking a gentle breath right into that heart space. You're ready. Just see if you can gently take the arms to the back of the space, pointing the toes, getting that full body stretch, and gently bringing the knees into the belly. Just give them a little hug, a little squeeze again. This time letting the knees fall to whatever side feels right for you tonight. Whatever side they fall to, see if you can use that arm as a little pillow. Just enjoy a last few minutes to feel grounded, to feel safe, to feel connected, whatever it is that's sacred to you. Know that you're loved, that you are love. When you're ready, just gently press yourself up to a last cross-legged seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the chest, in front of the heart. Our last exercise together is just a little karma yoga. See if you can pick some person, some place on the planet, something that needs your love, that needs our healing light and energy, and just send some prayers for peace, love, whatever that is that they need out into the planet. Just like when we set that intention, really see the manifestation of that love, of that light, of that healing coming into being. From here, just gently bring the thumbs right up to the third eye, honoring and acknowledging the power of our thoughts. Everything starts in the mind. Our thoughts are the building block of our reality. We honor clarity of vision, purity of thought. See if you can bring the index fingers to your lips, honoring and acknowledging the power of the words that you speak. Our words bring our thoughts to life. We speak with sweetness. We honor our truth. See if you can bring the thumbs right back to that heart space. And it's from that place that is the same inside each and every single one of us. I want to honor and thank you for sharing your practice here today, tonight. Have a beautiful rest of your night, a beautiful weekend. Much health, much wealth, much love to you. Namaste. Thank you so much. I'll see you again in Yoga Land real soon. If you have any questions, my name's Noah, and thanks for being here tonight. Have a beautiful night.